Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bible Q&A. Today we're discussing who would you rather obey? The Bible makes it clear that it is impossible not to obey one of two people, God or Satan. As it was said in Matthew, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. Matthew chapter 6 verse 24. Satan is represented by mammon in this text because a lot of sin is caused by the love of money, as Paul noted in 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 10. Thus, it is one of Satan's principal tools to cause people to obey him. But how do people obey Satan? Do they build temples for him? No. You obey Satan by doing what he wants, and what he wants is for people to disregard God. Paul told the Thessalonians, "He opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 4. He is okay with you praising God and going to church, but only if you do your own will, and not God's. Describing the result of this policy in Israel, God said, "For as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men." Isaiah chapter 29 verse 13. For example, in Genesis chapter 3 verse 6, Eve was said to believe that the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was good to look at and tasty. It was Satan's revelation that God was actually hoarding the tree out of envy that pushed Eve to eat it. Satan just used Eve's lust to push her to make the decision to eat it. Satan did the same thing to David in 1 Chronicles chapter 21. As a king, there was always the temptation to do a census of Israel to determine how many people he could send to battle. And even when Joab reminded him of God's will to leave the number of Israel's soldiers to him, Satan pushed David to ignore that. Another way to obey Satan is to essentially work for sin. As Paul told the Romans, "Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but yield yourselves unto God, as those that are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness unto God." Romans chapter 6 verse 13. Essentially, you are hiring yourself to sin to improve its profits. For example, if you are a thief, you are working in service of your own bank account, and not for God. Gehazi can't say that taking Naaman's goods was working for God, because the servant of God, Elisha, had already sent them off. Thus, he was only working to improve his own finances, which is why he hid them from Elisha. Also, if you divorce someone because you can get more money from being separated than from being married, you're also working in service of your finances. It can't be in service of God, because Jesus condemned divorce in Matthew chapter 5 verses 31 and 32. On the other hand, if you work for the profit of righteousness, you can be considered to obey God. For example, Jesus said he obeyed God in John chapter 8 verse 42 because he did what God sent him to do. "If God were your Father, ye would love me, for I proceeded forth and came from God. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me." Like with any employer, you look at God's mission statement and decide you believe in your boss's ideals, and you want to subject yourself to them. You want to have children, according to Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. You want to teach people about God, according to Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 7. If you're a woman, you want to advance your husband's own mission to serve God, according to Ephesians chapter 5 verse 22. If you do these things, only God can profit. It's impossible to maximize profit or status with these ideals, because you won't try to get a job to make more money than your husband, or take two to spend more time away from your kids. Thus, it is God that you're serving. Thus, knowing these things, every Christian has to choose who they will serve. For example, in 1 Kings chapter 18 verse 21, Elijah told the people that they could give sacrifices to Baal or give sacrifices to God. By the time they chose God, they had to execute the prophets of Baal. Part of the reason you have to make this choice is that God gets jealous when people work in service of other ideals. As God said in Exodus, "Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Exodus chapter 20, verses 5 to 6. Thus, in Joshua chapter 24, verse 15, Joshua asked the Israelites to choose which god they would serve, to the exclusion of the Mesopotamian or Canaanite gods. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. When they agreed, they had to get rid of their idols and only serve God, according to Joshua chapter 24, verse 23. And that is where I'm going to stop with this Bible Q&A, where we discuss the choice Christians make between serving Satan and serving God. God bless you, and goodbye everyone.